So, you want to start a religion. How are you going to do it? Well, I think it is instructive to think of it from the predatory perspective, or the perspective of the con man, looking for a mark and coming up with a good con. And you have to start off by realizing that there's two ways to get things done in life. You can either do them yourself, or you can get other people to do things for you. And it turns out to be much easier in life if you can get other people to do things for you. Now, this can either be by an agreement between people where they're both fully informed and consent, or you could lie and manipulate in order to trick somebody into doing something for you. Okay, first off, you want to come up with the big lie. And I know from doing magic before, if you can get people to believe little lies, it's much easier to sell the big lie. So the best place to put the big lie is somewhere where it cannot be tested. And here I think the big lies in religion are about God, and especially heaven and hell and the afterlife. Of course, this is genius, right? Because who's going to test it? Who's going to check that out? You could kill yourself, but then you'd be dead. So you'd have no way of coming back to file a complaint, to air a grievance. From the con man's perspective, you're always gonna have satisfied customers. Nobody's ever come back and filed a complaint to show, oh, this is just a bunch of BS. So here's one example. You could claim to have an invisible, spectral tiger by your side. Okay, walk up to people on the street. Hey, I've got this invisible tiger, and he told me to tell you that you need to hand over 10% of your money, otherwise he's going to maul you to death. Now, probably most people would think you're crazy. Oh yeah, well, I got an invisible tiger hunter, and he's going to kill any invisible tiger that tries to attack me. And then they just walk off. Not much you can do about it. However, you get a few people that might just be so scared of the thought of an invisible tiger that could maul them to death that they wouldn't want to chance it, so they go ahead and give you their 10% of their money. Right? And you're sitting there like, holy crap, it worked, right? They actually gave me money. How am I going to keep this person believing what I say and have them keep giving me money? Well, first off, you want to provide some sort of book, some sort of doctrine where you lay down the rules of your belief structure. And it's highly effective to make this a closed belief structure so that you lay down the rules in the book and then have the book itself be the verification that, yes, these words are not just the mere words of man, they are the words of God and infallible. And if anybody questions it, look right in the book. It says it's all true. All right, now that's a very strong closed system. Of course, it has a drawback, if that's all you did, of other people. You could have other people come up to your followers and tell them, hey, wait a minute. Why are you giving the money to this guy who's threatening you with the invisible tiger? There's no evidence for anything like that. He's just tricking you to take your money. Well, you don't want people saying that, so you want to include as part of the holy book a warning against evildoers and really introduce the whole concept of good and evil, which is just a sort of generic language that's so abstract it's almost meaningless. Good essentially boils down to things you like. Evil essentially boils down to things you don't like. Evil. But specifically, it just depends on the person. The things that one religion will be calling good, another religion would be calling evil. So, which is it? It's just their abstract concepts that don't really have any specific meaning. It's sort of like you might see advertisements nowadays for products that will promote wholesome wellness or something where, I mean, you wouldn't be against wholesome wellness now, would you? But specifically, what is meant by wholesome wellness? Well, specifically nothing. It sounds good. I mean, that sounds very positive, much like the notion of good, and as opposed to evil. Um, and of course, the whole notion of good and evil, I think, is just really a way to get people thinking about things in terms of us versus them. You know, if they don't agree with us, then they are evil, or under the influence of evil. And of course, the Bible does a very good job of warning people against the threats of Satan and the temptations of Satan. And if any ideas that would question the religion start to sound good and would start to tempt you away from it, then well, that's clearly, you've been forewarned, that's clearly the work of Satan. And you should just avoid that information entirely, because you know it's evil, it's dark-sided, and you should have nothing to do with it. So this provides some insulation against other people that would give information to your followers to make them go away, because you can start off painting them as evil. And to prevent your own followers from questioning things too much, thinking about things too much on their own, you can just simply promote faith as a virtue. So you're promoting, hey, just believe what I'm saying. Just believe it. You don't need reasons. You don't need evidence. Just believe it. It's a virtue. And then, the social praise that your followers will be receiving from each other for just believing will reinforce this notion that it's a good thing to do, because everybody likes that sort of social reinforcement. Everybody patting you on the back. Good job. And that will keep your followers from questioning things too much and protect them, so to speak, from any outside influence. So there you have some ways to insulate your followers from any outside influence that might sway them away from your religion. But how are you going to gain more followers? Well, you can include proselytizing as part of the deeds that one should do in order to follow this religion. So, basically tell your followers to, get out there and recruit more people. So just keep going out there and spreading the message, and when you get the few that bite, here's how to reel them in, hook, line, and sinker. And then another method, which is just sheer genius. I mean, the Catholics, they know from whence to get the money with their indulgences and all. But so another great way to get more followers is to claim that any sort of prophylactic is a sin against God. All right, so you can essentially make sure that you have followers that don't use birth control, so they're going to have large families. And all the children will be raised in the religion as well, and will likely also be followers and then contributors to the religion. And then they would all likely have large families, all contributors to the religion. And that will be another way that you can make large numbers of followers without actually having to convince people that already have knowledge of the world into your belief. You can just raise children which have no knowledge of the world to believe the things you already believe. So there you have it. That's how you can make your own religion and start making a profit. Of course, I'd be interested to hear input from others. What kind of things have you noticed about religions that tend to promote this idea of insulating its followers from outside beliefs and in being able to maintain followers and increase the number of followers so that the business model of the church will work and continue to generate revenues?